Hello and welcome back to the channel. My name is Eddie Jennings from ejsllc.com. This video is going to be another in my practice session series for the Red Hat Certified Specialist in Containers exam EX188. Before I dive in, I want to thank returning subscribers for watching another video, as well as invite anyone who's watching, if you haven't subscribed yet, to click the subscribe button. Also a reminder that these are practice session videos for me to self-assess how I'm doing with the objectives prior to taking my exam, which is in just under 2 weeks. Hopefully I'll do well at the end of the video, and if not, then I know that I need to do some work on whatever the objective is. These are not to be considered tutorials, nor are they considered to be training materials, because I myself am still learning. However, if you're also preparing for this exam and find how I am practicing some of these things to be useful for you with you developing your own practice methods, then that is great. That's hopefully a positive outcome that can happen with the video. So we're continuing with the run containers locally using Podman set of objectives and looking at specifying environment parameters. This will be a little different than an earlier practice session when I was doing this with building container images. This is specifying, or at least as I understand it with this objective, we are specifying these environment parameters at runtime for the container. And I'm going to show you a couple of examples of this, or try to make a couple of examples of this. Let's run a container. We'll use the UBI8 image. We'll have the container go away at the end. And we are going to use I think you can do -- environment. I don't want all 138 possibilities. Yeah, you can do, it's -env. I was thinking -- environment for some reason. Maybe I'm thinking of entry point. But you can do -env, and we can make an environment variable. We're going to call this var1, and we're going to set that to some string. And we'll do registry.access.redhat.com/ubi8 ubi, and we want it to run the env command. If I spell that correctly, that will be helpful. And we see it ran the env command, and we see our variable 1. So that was passing an environment variable to the container, and then that variable can be used for a variety of things. There are some containers that you'll deal with that are expecting environment variables to be specified when this container runs. There might not be like a default set, by the image. You have to specify it. And in the image, you can set environment variables that in there, but you can obviously overwrite that. But I want to show you an example of one container image that I'm fairly sure needs environment variables to run, and that is the MySQL container image. So let's try to run, or first let me search for the image name. I know there's probably going to be lots. All right, we'll try this. So rel 7.1, but this should behave the way I am expecting it to. So we'll do podman run. Okay, and I didn't do this in detached mode because I wanted to see the output. And what it's telling us, the container obviously is stopped. If I do podman ps-a, we'll see that it exited with an error code, exit 1. And it is telling us that, hey, we have to, there's a piece in it that says checking out whatever variables are there. And so there are some things that we have to set. And there's various things that we don't have to, but in order to run this container, we have to give it a user, we have to give it a password, and we have to give it a database, or we can just feed it a root password. I don't have any applications at my disposal to run with this, but I can imagine that let's say you have an application that's going to run 2 containers, one for the application itself, one for the database. And you would, when you're running your containers, you would specify the environment variables for both of those containers to where the application can authenticate to the database, and the database is then also created with what we need. So let's see, MySQL user password database. So let's try to run this, run a new container. And we'll specify these environment variables. So MySQL user, we'll just do user foo MySQL password. Set that to foo as well. And I think we have to do separate -e's for this, if I recall correctly. And then my SQL database, and that will be equal to foo as well. So not the most secure thing, but this is just to do an example. We're also going to do this in detached mode, and we'll give it a name, db1, and the name of the image, which I've already forgotten. RHSCL is the namespace. Okay, so this should run. Yep, it's running. And let's do podman exec, go into an interactive session with this container. Oh, bin bash. There we go. Now, commands for MySQL. Let's see. U, foo, p, foo. How that would work? Oh, no. Let's try this again. So, MySQL, u, foo. Put in the password, foo. Okay, so we're in MySQL. Man, it's been forever since I've had to type commands into a database. And by forever, I mean when I was doing Gwinnett Tech stuff years ago to get an associate degree when I did a career change. Well, point being, we're able to log into MySQL with user foo and password foo, and then I could potentially do stuff with the foo database. But as far as I can tell, for what this particular objective is talking about, that's really about it. The way you specify environment variables at runtime is with that -e variable name equals whatever you want your variable to be. So not too complex. Hopefully you found it useful and found the information to be accurate. If you did enjoy the video, make sure you click like. Also, thank you to returning subscribers for watching another video. And if you haven't subscribed, please do so. Click the subscribe button and ring the bell when you do. Thank you for your time, and I'll see you the next time.